grew up in chaos. My dad was, I don't know if he'd call himself an alcoholic, but I did. And,
Yeah.
he drank a lot and he was an angry man.
Really?
Yeah. So it went, especially when he got drunk.
Sure. What was his anger like? Like, what did it?
It was, if you've ever been around somebody who's currently or present day's diagnosis is borderline personality, where they just have nothing between the on switch and the off switch. When his cork popped, it was ugly, and it popped pretty often.
And maybe it was quick and unexpected, like you didn't know what would set him off.
Yeah, and it was always, and Mom had 3 boys to deal with, and she was, I think, a little bit underprepared to deal with, my older brother beating the heck out of me all the time, and me beating him up, running around. It was just a pretty chaotic.
It sounds like, respectfully, your mom had 4 kiddos to deal with.
I never thought about it that. Yeah, so it was a very turbulent childhood, and all we did was work on the weekends. And Dad was just all about making us tough, and that was his deal,
How do you make you tough?
Well, first of all, we work every weekend.
What was work like? What
anything he had a project going, we did a lot of interior finish out of a house that we moved into. Painting, scraping rust off of cars, changing oil in the cars, and my friends wouldn't come over because he'd put them to work too, and so and that was like what our teen years were like. It was blissful actually before our teen years, up until about 11, before we moved into the bigger house. He just didn't. He never really related with the youngs, anybody under 10. But once they started looking like an adolescent, he was into, general mode and like Army general mode. Just do this, do that, do this, do that. And Mom would be, well, wait till your dad gets home every time, and there was whippings, that was part of the.
Corporal punishment.
Yeah, that was part of the landscape back then. Even at school, it was.
Oh, yeah. How'd you get spanked? Was it a belt or was it a paddle?
It was a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last time, which was really bad. And Mom pretty much put the kibosh on it after that.
Because maybe he'd been drinking before he did it.
He had. I love my dad.
Absolutely.
He was as flawed as any human on the face of the planet, but you know what? I'm a lot like him. So I realized along the way, as I entered into my alcoholic phases of adulthood, I was really just another version of him. I had to really do something to get out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did his anger look like?
High intensity screaming.
High screaming.
Yeah.
Like yelling.
Like yelling. Yeah.
Was it cuss words?
Oh, yeah.
Cuss words.
Yeah. And then not only that, but he would do the same with Mom. So I have a lot of memories later on in the evening after we had gone to bed, and he was just lit into Mom. And Mom was just this little petite lady that eventually stood up and divorced him. And, and she had a calm strength to her that just showed out. It just took, she believed that a divorce wasn't a possibility until we got out of into college. That was just her upbringing, was that marriage. You stayed married no matter what for the kids. Yeah. And and I in many ways I still respect that.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do it, but I kind of like I respect it still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he slam stuff around the house? Did he bang slam doors and break things?
Oh yeah. It was ugly.
How frequent was that when
he never really hit anybody?
No.
Other than the whipping, which was he never hit Mom. And it was, I don't know, it was often enough to be on high alert, constantly.
Yeah, this sounds really familiar to me.
Yeah.
This was the type of violence I was raised in.
Yeah. It was emotionally violent, physically violent, only to the point of the whippings. He didn't ever push anybody or Or the only fist fight I ever knew he got into was when he got robbed late one night and he beat up the robbers. So that was just like, as he says, those were two of the smallest robbers I've ever seen. It wasn't like he was even trying to be a hero, you know. He just like said, he just triggers, you know. He just had his triggers, and when they went off, it was all bets were off and top blew.